Is it ever okay to get mad at your depressed friends? Is there ever an excuse for it? G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the Arsehole? Now, if you love today's bloody good content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and get ready for some good stories. Let's go. Am I the arsehole for getting mad at my depressed friend and telling him to go home for getting on my nerves? This story consists of me, 19 male, my depressed friend Jake, 17 male, our friend Peter, 18 male, and his girlfriend Savannah, 18 female. This is my first group of friends with good vibes. My other friend circle never got along well and were extremely toxic, so it's nice having great friends with an interesting dynamic for once. While I love my friends and group, there's one person that stands out, and it's my mutual friend Jake. He's not really part of our circle, but he always insists on hanging out with us whenever we make plans. Don't get me wrong, he's a nice kid, but he really gets on my nerves sometimes. He kills the mood whenever he's around due to his really bad depression and social anxiety. His mental health problems make it hard to connect with him, and when he's with us, he just seems so lost. Like he doesn't want to be there, even though he's the one who invited himself. He has nothing useful to say and seems so uninterested. I don't get why he wants to hang out with us when he doesn't seem to enjoy it. Last weekend, we planned to meet at a restaurant for lunch, and of course, Jake asked if he could come. I didn't want to be a dick, so I told him that he could tag along. While my friends and I were joking around and having fun, Jake sat there the whole time barely talking. He just gave a few laughs and then went silent. This annoyed the hell out of me. So later that night, I sent him a text asking why he insisted on joining us if he was only going to sit there and not contribute to the conversation. I told him he should just stay home if he wasn't going to participate at all. He apologized for being an inconvenience and said that he'd stop asking. He told Peter and Savannah why he stopped hanging out with us, and the two of them were pissed. They kept throwing his mental health in my face to make me feel bad, saying, "He's depressed, stop being mean to him." But I don't think that I am being mean. If he isn't having fun or contributing, then why waste his time with us when he could be doing something more interesting? Why does he feel the need to stick with us and ruin our nights out with his unenthusiastic personality? I think I might be the asshole because he doesn't have a lot of friends, and he hasn't talked to me at all this week. He must be really upset right now, and I'm starting to feel bad. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I think I'm the asshole because I told my friend to stop inviting himself to hang out with us if he wasn't going to add anything meaningful to the conversation. He doesn't have a lot of friends, so I think I might have screwed up on this. Now in the comments, dude, let's cut the BS. You are not actually all that concerned that your friend with mental health issues could be doing something more interesting with his time. You're annoyed that his mental health issues are squashing your good time because you appear to lack any empathy towards the guy whatsoever, and instead of treating him like an actual friend and human being, you are placing a valuation on him based on how much he contributes to your enjoyment. You're the asshole. Completely agree. He even says, "While my friends and I joked around, Jake just sat there." He isn't even including Jake as being a friend. He specifically says he tags along. He isn't really part of the circle of friends. He really doesn't like Jake or care one way or the other. He views him as a hanger-on. He wishes he would get lost so he didn't have to keep putting up with him. You're the asshole. Why does it hurt you if he just sits there and listens? Maybe he likes being with you all because he wants to be fun and outgoing, and he's trying, but it takes all of his bloody effort to actually go. Depression is awful. You feel so alone, and your head tells you that you're an inconvenience and nobody likes you, and you have to force yourself to believe that isn't true. Except in Jake's case, you told him those thoughts were true. Depression isn't something he can switch off because you don't like it. He can't help the way he is, and it's a constant battle with your own mind. Sometimes it takes every ounce of energy to get out of bed or force yourself out the door, and here he is actually committing to plans and trying to join in. You mentioned your other friendship groups were toxic, and to be honest, it sounds as though you were at least part of the problem. What an insensitive and awful thing to do to someone. How bad is his depression? Is he suicidal? Because a message like that could be all he needed to push him over, and how much of an asshole would you feel then? And now back to the post. Edit. Oof. I'm definitely the asshole. I've read all of your replies, and now I see where I went wrong. I asked him if he wants to meet up tomorrow, and he said yes. It'll be just the two of us, and I'm going to apologize to him for being a giant D-bag. And now onto the update. You guys made it very clear that what I did was messed up, and I see that now. When I sent the text, I wasn't thinking about how it would hurt him. I was only thinking about myself and my own feelings. After reading your replies, I realized just how wrong and stupid I really am. I sent him a text asking him if he wanted to do something with me, just the two of us. I wasn't expecting an answer, but to my surprise, he said yes. When we met up, I apologized for what I said to him. I emphasized my guilt and made it clear that he is not a burden or an inconvenience, and that I was cruel for making him feel that way. I let him know that I'll be there for him if he ever needs anyone, and that I'll do my best to be a better friend. The conversation turned emotional, he started crying, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't get teary-eyed too. I'm usually good at keeping myself together, but watching other people cry makes it hard not to. We hugged it out, and everything went well from there. He told me about his mental health and how it's been spiraling over the years. I won't go into detail about what he told me out of respect for him, but he's been through a lot, and I had to hug him again after he told me because I felt so bad for him. Hearing about his experiences with depression and anxiety has really opened my eyes. Before all this, I didn't think those things were a big deal, but I was so freaking wrong. Talking to him and reading through your comments explaining what it's like to be depressed and how difficult it is to overcome it really helped change my perspective. So thank you for the harsh words of advice. You guys really slapped some sense into me. I'm just relieved I was able to make things right with him. I thought he'd hate me for what I said, but he is so kind and understanding that he was willing to hear me out and accept my apology. I don't deserve his generosity, but I'll try my best to give it back in return. Now in the comments, glad to hear it was a learning experience. Mental health is no joke. You were young, and I certainly never had an education in mental health when I was your age. I'm really glad some life learning happened, and it sounds like you deepened a friendship. Good luck. This one feels like a twofer. Jake got a better friend and better support, and OP was open-minded and grew as a person. Not like you needed random stranger approval, but I'm proud of you. And OP replies, oddly enough, that makes me happy. Thank you. Your update was very touching. I got teary-eyed myself. Coincidentally, my good friend relapsed this past week and is in a state of severe depression. I saw her yesterday. It was heartbreaking to see her so frail, completely withered, and hiding alone all by herself in her house. I reached out to her day after day, no response. Knocked on her door, nothing. I knew something was wrong. Miraculously, after I asked her on text if I can come over and bring her food, she responded yes. She asked for a Big Mac meal. I brought it. She was so happy. She told me she had not eaten anything in 2 days. She looked like a skeleton. We sat in bed watching a comedy movie. We laughed, we cried together, I hugged her over and over, and I told her I'm there for her. Sorry for the long story. I'm new to Reddit, so I know there's all these rules on commenting. My point is, your story touched me, and thank you for doing the right thing and taking accountability for your actions. Thank you for making things right. Not everyone can put their pride aside and do what you did. Our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for denying my boyfriend more time to himself? My boyfriend, 37 male, let's call him Ron, and I, 22 female, had a baby, 9 months male, this past August. The baby wasn't planned, Ron never wanted kids, and I was supposed to be infertile, so the positive pregnancy test was a shock. We talked about it and decided to raise the baby. So far so good. I took 1 year of full maternity leave. I was supposed to come back this August, and was recently laid off by my employer. so after the baby was born, I cared for him full time. Ron did all the chores and his 40-hour-a-week job. After about 3 weeks, went to see a therapist. Left the baby at my mum's because Ron didn't feel like he could take care of him all alone. The therapist suggested that I take 3 hours a day for myself to catch some sleep or read or play video games or whatever. Just some not baby time. Ron is caring for the baby during these hours, and it's been going pretty well actually. We divided the chores since we also divide the baby care, and now our tasks look like this. Me, 21 hours a day baby care, laundry, clean the bathroom, meal planning and making grocery lists, 50% grocery shopping, 50% cooking, and 50% dishes. Him, 3 hours per day baby care, during his days off too, vacuum once a week, 50% grocery shopping, 50% cooking, 50% dishes, 8 hours per day job. This has been going well for months now. Like I said above, I am now unemployed, meaning that I'm financially dependent on Ron. To change that, I made an OnlyFans. I now spend most of these 3 hours making videos and photos, cutting and editing, taxes, etc. A few days ago, Ron said that he would like more time to himself, which I found unfair for multiple reasons. 1. His job isn't killing him. He's in home office and arranged his work computer and his personal computer in an L shape, so he can play video games during work. He's in tech support, and most of the day there aren't any calls or mails to do, so he just plays games. I'm not standing beside him all the time, but if I had to guess, I'd say that 25 to 40% of his work is purely games. 2. He can sleep through the night. I put the baby down in the evening, I stand up at night when he wakes up, I stand up with him in the morning, which means that Ron can sleep from the end of his shift, usually 11 p.m. to 9 a.m. when he takes over the baby. The ability to get full sleep is something that I would take into consideration. 3. He gets plenty of time to himself already. He has from 12 p.m. to about 2 p.m. when he gets ready for work, and he has from the end of his shift to whenever he goes to sleep. This is more than I have, especially with me working now. And 4, additionally to the usual baby care, feeding, diapering, cuddling, playing, I organize all the doctor's appointments, the get-to-know with daycare, all the bureaucratic stuff that comes with a baby. I laid down the reasons why I don't think he should get more time to himself yesterday. He got a little huffy, but dropped the topic for peace's sake, and we haven't talked about it since. So Reddit, it's up to you. Am I the asshole or not? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I got second thoughts after my family, especially my parents and grandparents, told me that he needs more time for himself because he's working a full-time job. I now think that maybe I'm not holding his time to the same value that I hold my time, and that's why I could also be the asshole. His job is his job after all, and since he's the sole breadwinner, he should also get time to rest. On the other hand, it's his baby too, and I'm allowed to chill as well. Now in the comments, yeah, you're the asshole. You say that his job isn't killing him when you haven't worked at all. He splits the chores with you 50-50, works and cares for the baby when he's not. His only downtime is just before and after work. Caring for a baby isn't work? OnlyFans isn't work. I agree. He deserves some dedicated downtime just as you do. What is his time and attention before and after work usually taken up by? Probably all the chores that you outlined. Let the man have an hour to himself. His mental health and recharge is important too. Also consider the time that you're using for OnlyFans. If you're putting in more effort than you're earning, you should probably reconsider. And OP replies, he does his chores in the 3 hours that he has with the baby. Before and after work, he is on his computer and playing video games. Okay, and have you tried talking to him about what he actually needs more time for? Or spoken to him about being more proactive, about taking time for his mental well-being, and being proactive about it? Like actually dedicating time to mindfulness and mental stretching breaks, rather than consuming media to prevent the occurrence of a thought, and then still being as drained as he was before. Have you considered the latter for yourself as well? You are taking on more than I understand your desire to contribute, but you need to dedicate time to yourself and not get caught up in taking care of everything else. It's hard being a new mum, but you will get there. And OP replies, I suggested spending less time on his phone or computer multiple times throughout our relationship, but he always shut me down. He hates not having his brain flooded. His words, not mine. Not to sound mean, but where exactly should I get time for myself? The only times that I don't spend dealing with a tiny poo monster is going to earn some money and sleeping, and this whole thing that we are discussing right now is about moving my 3 hours somewhere else, meaning into my sleeping hours, so he gets more time. I already don't have any time to recharge, and we're talking about cutting my sleeping hours down now. You are caring for the baby 21 hours every day. Of course you're not the asshole. Your husband needs to have an honest look at the very clear disparity in responsibility here. Not the asshole. It seems like you have a fairly even division of chores, except you have majority of childcare and you use your 3 hours of me time to work to bring in extra income. Ron did not want kids. You thought you were infertile, but you talked about it after you became pregnant and made the decision to keep the child. Spending time actually caring and tending to the child is part of raising it. Info. How did you and Ron meet? How were things divided before the baby? And OP replies, we were colleagues a few years ago. Before the baby, we used to do things either together or divided 50-50. And now on to the update. The overbearing opinion was that I was not pulling my weight and that I'm the asshole, so I reconsidered and discussed the issue with my boyfriend again. We changed up the following things. I cut my sleeping time down to 3 to 5 hours and work while the baby is sleeping. He doesn't have to care for the baby anymore. I care for him 24/7 on work days and days off. I do all the chores except vacuuming once a week, so now he can sleep in on his days off and spend his free time doing whatever he feels like. I work at night and care for the baby during the day. We have been trying it out for 2 days now, and even though I'm dead tired, it fills me with joy to see how relaxed he is. Thank you for all of your advice. It really helped us in our everyday life. I hope you have a good weekend. Anyway guys, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you did like it, tell me what you thought about it down in the comments below, and make sure to just interact with everyone in this community. I love each and every one of you that I get to see on a daily basis. And don't forget, if you are a Patreon subscriber, I love you. You're on the screen right now with the YouTube members as well. If you see yourself, give yourself a pat in the back. You guys help me continue this YouTube journey. You keep me going. I see you guys everywhere. I see your messages, and thank you so much for supporting me. I really love every single one of you. But with that all said, I'm going to be signing off now, guys. I hope you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.